Right, it's 10:01, so I think we'll crack on if that's okay with everyone. So again, just put it down to everyone. My name's Lawrence Davis. I'm with the Money and Pension Service, some of the partnerships manager for Wales within the Money and Pension Service, and I'll refer to us as MAPS as we go through today. Okay, the Money and Pension Service MAPS. Okay, as we go through. So it's really a bit of an overview of who we are, what we do, and all the kind of the tools, the calculators people can use then from us, which is all totally free, totally impartial as well, just to help their kind of their financial well-being, money navigation skills, all that kind of thing. But we'll touch upon that later on now as well. So hopefully some of you have heard of maybe the Money and Pension Service or maybe Money Helper, Help Arian, before today. But if not, it'll be a nice way of kind of introducing us to those who haven't heard of us before. A bit of a background then as to maybe who we are, first of all, at MAPS. Okay. Now, at MAPS, we were set up, we were a UK-wide organisation, okay? We're sponsored by the DWP, and we operate as an arm's length body of the government. We were established back in 2019, essentially just to bring together the work of the former Money Advice Service, the Pensions Advisory Service, and PensionWise. So bring those three entities together just to provide this kind of one joined up service. And MAPS solely exists, just to try and improve people's financial well-being by just making sure, ensuring everyone has access to that free, impartial guidance that they need when it comes to, money and pensions. We work with partners throughout the UK just to make sure that we deliver, trusted services people know where to turn to in times of need. Okay, if people need things like debt advice, financial education, pension guidance, just to help people make informed decisions throughout their life as well. So that's the only reason why we were set up, just to help people. And we work across these kind of five core functions, really. Okay, so the clue's in the name, the Money and Pension Service. So a lot of what we focus on, of course, is helping and getting people's understanding and knowledge of financial matters up to a level, building their day-to-day money management skills, just to put people on that right track for the future. Talking of the future, one eye towards the future, pension guidance. Now, people can contact us, okay? And I mean literally for any questions when it comes to pension guidance. We've got a massive team in the pensions department, all staffed by things like ex-pension lawyers, ex-pension IFAs, trustees, with a wealth of knowledge, and we pride ourselves on being able to answer any questions when it comes to pensions, be that the state, your workplace pensions, private pensions, anything to do with pensions, okay? Now, I mentioned debt advice again becoming more of an issue throughout the UK. So we do provide people with information and advice on debt. It's a devolved issue, debt advice, okay? So it's funded a bit differently across the nations of the UK. In England, MAPS provides debt advice directly to the public. In Wales, we're funded slightly different. So, different organisations provide debt advice in Wales. But we've got this debt advice locator tool, which I think I will be showing later on, where you can just stick in your postcode and wherever you live in the UK, it'll bring up a list of debt advisors close to you as well. So that's one thing we do there. Consumer protection, of course, you can't turn on the radio or have a look at the TV or scroll on your phone these days without hearing some sort of financial crime or scam happening. The sad fact is, look, wherever there's money, those sharks are circulating. They want to take that money off us as well. So we work with different government departments, the likes of the Financial Conduct Authority as well, just to help protect consumers against these scammers as well. We've got a dedicated helpline that people can contact us just for a chat. Or does this sound like a scam? What do you think of this or that? Very informal, and we can put people on that right path then, just to make sure that we try and combat these scammers as well. With regards to strategy, we work with all sorts of organizations. My remit is solely within Wales, of course, but we work with organisations throughout the UK who want to help their staff, their community, like today, for example, with Added Learning Wales, who want to improve people's financial well-being with just these kinds of initiatives as well. So we work across loads of different stakeholders across the whole of the UK as well to help boost that general financial well-being strategy as well. Now, talking today, of course, we're talking about financial well-being, and some people may think, oh, do you know, it's a bit aspirational, it's a bit woolly in itself, isn't it? And do you know what? Yeah, I sometimes agree with you. Um, I mean, I personally would love more money in my pocket every month. That's a given, isn't it? Okay, I'm sure you're the same as well. But I guess, definition of financial well-being is making the most of what we've already got, essentially. We want to be more financially resilient. That's the key thing because unexpected events happen. My last winter, for example, at here with me, the boiler broke down and one of those big storms we had, I had a number of tiles fly off the roof. So that was an expensive winter. So building up our resilience for those unexpected events. We want to help people build their confidence around money management as well. So making sure that they understand, what does that mean? What does this mean? So help build up that knowledge as well, just to then empower people to make the best decisions for themselves. So that's what we ideally want. And that's what we mean by building people's financial well-being there as well. Now, every year now we do a survey across the UK and we focus on each nation as well within our Money View survey. And the last one was just published this week, actually. So it's on the Money and Pension Service website. So you can have a look at all this data there. So this is what our kind of the latest surveys, the 2026 surveys are showing. It does paint a clear, but sometimes it's a bit maybe a concerning picture of financial well-being across Wales, because it does show that many people are still struggling across multiple areas of their finances. You can see there that over half of people are finding it difficult to keep up with bills, for example. Whilst 20% regularly rely on things like credit, like overdrafts or maybe borrowing just to cover everyday essentials. And saving, we've seen, is still a major challenge too, with again 47% not saving regularly. And a sad one then, 30%, one in three, unable to cover maybe an unexpected bill of around £300 when that comes up. If you put a new tyre on a car, if you put 4 new tyres, that's probably close to that these days as well. So there's a lot more we should be doing, of course. So that's what we're trying to do, to improve this landscape, just to get these figures down. One thing that has improved, you can see retirement there, although there's still room for improvement. We can see that, 51%, kind of don't maybe understand enough about retirement or don't have a plan for their finances in retirement. Last year, that was actually in the 60%. So things are improving. It's coming down a bit there. So, there's some improvement there as well. So much more work to be done, but at least we can have a gauge, basically. What this Money View does is kind of a snapshot every year of how we feel about money within the UK, and of course, more important for us, within Wales as well. And one way that we try and kind of help people, of course, is through our consumer offering, Money Helper or Helpwr Arian. And this is our kind of free, impartial, it's government-backed service providing practical help for money and pension decisions. And hopefully, if you haven't had a chance to have a look at this in the past, hopefully after today, you'll know a bit more about it and be able to kind of just to tell other people of this resource that's out there as well. And I'll be honest, right? There's no way I can kind of do any justice to Money Helper within 10 or 15 minutes. It's like trying to explain, I guess, the internet on a kind of on a flip chart. I can give you a flavor, but the real magic, it helps. It happens when you get stuck in yourself. Have a click around, try a calculator, test it with a real life question, and I promise you, I'm biased, of course. I'm obviously going to say it's fantastic, but you'll come away thinking, oh, that's pretty good actually. And the best bit about this, it's all free all impartial, no sales, no jargon, and of course, people can access it whenever you need it as well. So when you go into it, you'll be able to see that's the kind of the home screen at the moment, I think. And along the top, all those kind of topics along the top, you click into those, it brings down drop-down box as well. You can click on the button there, talk to us live, because sometimes people just want to talk to someone as well, don't they? Talk to a real person. And I guess one thing we do pride ourselves on, maybe a bit different to some government departments, is sometimes during the I know I tested this morning the phone lines at the moment are chock-a-block. They're really busy at the moment. Okay, it's end of tax year. People are phoning us for help on planning for the end of tax year, so that's causing a bit of a backlog. But if you leave us a message, we guarantee to ring you back as well. So that's a bit different to maybe some departments there, but we do guarantee to ring you back if you do leave us a message. And of course, in Wales, it's available in Cymraeg ac yn Saesneg, so it's a purely bilingual service. It's written in a nice, easy to follow way as well, all plain language, as I said, no jargon as well. And you can toggle back between the Welsh and English without any hassle as well. Now, looking towards the future as well, we said that we need to improve generally the landscape. And one thing, we are focusing a lot on children and young people as well, because they will be the next generation of adults, of course. And we're seeing now children who are good with money usually learn those skills from us, so their parents, their carers as well. And letting your child spend and save money from an early age helps them develop the skills to hopefully make smart decisions, not just now, because obviously we want them to do it now, but in the future as well. But we know also that talking to kids about money can be difficult as well. We want our children to grow up feeling confident about managing their own money. But it can be an emotional topic as well, especially if we've had our own issues with it in the past. We worried sometimes we don't want to say the wrong things. But we don't have to manage our own finances perfectly to be able to teach our children good habits, essentially. We just need to decide, right, what do we want to teach them? And just keep it simple. And that's where one of our kind of great initiatives called Talk, Learn, Do. That's where Talk, Learn, Do comes in as well. Now, this, again, everything we do is free, as I said, but this is one of our free resources. It's designed to help parents, and carers teach their children between maybe the ages of 3 and 11, essentially, with Talk, Learn, Do, to teach them about money through everyday activities, essentially. It's got different themes. They're talking to money about kids. What is money? How do we earn it, for example? We then, hopefully they learn, but we need to involve them then. And we've got simple decisions. How do they make these decisions for themselves? We can build in fun activities that helps build for these lifelong skills as well. So it's proving very popular at the moment, this Talk, Learn, Do initiative. And please, if anyone wants any information about this, it's all available for free on via Helper Arian or the Money Helper website, and you can have a look at the links here. And I will be sending a copy of the slides out after today's presentation as well. And of course, our relationship with money, actually begins far earlier than most people think. For example, by the age of 3 or 4, children are already forming habits around spending, their saving, the understanding the value of money as well. They watch us, adults talking about money, how maybe the shopping works if they come with you to help you with a weekly shop. They, learn the ideas of maybe want or the weight, or you can't have that now, but maybe save up for later on, and generally in primary years, it becomes more about then, as you can see, it's all different as they get older then, more maybe primary years, it becomes about pocket money. Then we talk about maybe needs versus want later on, introducing simple goals for them, of course, and then as they get older in teenage years, it shifts then to things like maybe bank accounts, if they're having their first bank accounts, online spending, the different ways of doing that, first jobs, of course, and then obviously going into adulthood as well. You're into the real world then. It moves to things like budgeting, borrowing, mortgages, childcare, and eventually down the line, back to pensions as well. But every stage, there's no one pill that fits all. That's why all the kind of the information on Money Help is broken down to help people talk to their kids at whatever age they are. And one thing that Wales is leading the way on, I'm very proud of Wales for doing this, is that the kids who went into year 10 last September, so that's September 25, they started their GCSEs, that 2 year journey for them, okay, last September. So the maths curriculum for Wales, the GCSE maths curriculum, has been overhauled. So now a third of the new curriculum for maths in Wales, it's all about financial, real life financial education. What is a mortgage? What's a pension? What does APR stand for? What are interest rates? What's national insurance? That kind of information is built into the curriculum now. So hopefully what we'll see is that maybe the next generation will be far more savvy than my generation, for example. So and Wales is leading. They're the only UK nation who've implemented this. I know the other nations are looking at us quite closely to see how it works. I can only see it as a win-win, to be honest with you as well. So that's one thing we are leading the way in at the moment. Now, when you go into Money Helper, it's got a wide variety of blogs as well. It covers a wide range of personal finance topics. And these articles are designed to provide kind of general financial guidance, things like budgeting, debt management, savings, pensions, as we mentioned, a whole raft more of information as well. And the way they're written as well, I said it's in an accessible, a nice practical way, it just makes them useful for people, looking to improve their financial literacy or maybe just finding answers to specific questions as well. And I mentioned money troubles, debt issues becoming more of a problem. And this is where things can spiral out of control if people aren't tackling them as well. A lot of the time we're like ostriches, aren't we? If we don't like something, head in the sand, things can spiral out of control. So we're focusing a lot on issues that's causing people stress, anxiety around money as well. I mentioned earlier on about our debt advice locator tool. So this is under the money trouble section within Money Helper. And you can just click on the button there, stick in your postcode, and it will bring up a list of free debt advisors close to you in your area as well. And that's the key thing when people are struggling with debt. Nobody should ever have to pay for debt advice because that would, just make the problems worse as well. So that's where people can use our services there, for example, when looking if people are struggling with issues there. But we've got so many tools and calculators, covering all sorts of eventualities, all sorts of queries. We are using it in our house quite regular as well. I've got an 18-year-old son. He left school last year. He's taken a year out. A year from what? I'm not sure because I'm not sure what's happening in September yet. But he's working as a teaching assistant at the moment. And he's been asking a lot of questions. He wants to buy his own car, maybe move into friends to rent a house, for example. And he was a bit unsure how much things cost. So we've got these different, tools and calculators. He's been using, for example, our car cost calculator, and he had to go at that. And he now realizes how expensive it is, not just to buy a car, but to run the car as well. And he said, "Oh, Dad, I don't think I'll be buying a car." I said, "No, I know you won't, mate." He realizes how expensive things are now. He even asked me, and he did stump me with this one, but he asked me, right, how long would a tub of Flora margarine last him if he lived alone? I said, "Look, we haven't got a tool for that. Everything else we can help you with," but he stumped me with that one. But it just shows you there's so much information and help on Money Helper there. And it's there. These tools are hopefully there to make money decisions a bit quicker, a bit clear for people, and more practical as well. Things like our budget planners, calculators, checkers, they just help people see where they stand at the moment, maybe explore their options and help them take simple steps there with a bit more confidence as well. So I'll just have a look at some of the popular ones people are using at the moment. Our budget planner, our savings calculator, and then the pension calculator as well. Now, this budget planner, okay, we've seen maybe, and I don't want to cast aspersions, but maybe the younger generations maybe lost that ability to keep a simple budget. Now, if I was speaking to my grandmother, for example, she would be knowing exactly where everything was going out to the penny on the farm, for example, down in West Wales. But maybe that's lost. We need to bring that back, the essentials of simple budgeting. And this is just an example of a free online budget planner helps people track their income and expenditure in one place. It allows you to stick in your income and your outgoings, and you can break this down into real depth if you wanted to as well within the tool. And it just highlights, areas where you could maybe cut costs. You'll also get tips on building an emergency fund, reducing maybe household bills, because we know, cost of living, world events going on at the moment, that's very important. And just making the most of our savings and budgeting as well. So this is one tool proving popular at the moment, our budget planner there. And you can download this then and keep it on your own laptop, your own PC. For example, I'm using it just to keep track of our spending within the family as well. Savings, of course, we've previously seen that we need to build a bit more financial resilience for those unexpected events, as I mentioned last winter for me, or maybe just some nice to haves as well. So our savings section, it's got so much useful information. It helps people build their confidence and take maybe steps again towards saving, whatever their starting point as well. Explains, the different types of savings. Again, what does this mean? What does that mean? It just breaks it down in simple terms, helps then people set these realistic, savings goals. And it does show with compound nature of savings or investments, starting small can save, then over the long term can have good outcomes later on. And it also covers things like building emergency fund, understanding interest rates, making the most of our tax-free options like ISAs, for example. So again, just helping people make that informed decision and build good saving habits as well for the longer term as well. So again, I've been using my son as an example, but he's going off now in exactly a month's time. Him and a few friends are going to Southeast Asia. So he's been using our kind of savings calculator since he's been starting working in last September to build up a fund. So just to give him an idea of how much he needs to go traveling for a few months now over the summer. And this savings calculator helps people see how their money can grow over time, plan their savings more confidently as well. You can do things like by just entering how much you want to save, how often you can save, and maybe what interest rate you're going to get. And it shows you then how long it could take you to reach a particular savings goal, or how much your savings could be worth in the future. And then that makes it easier for you then just to compare options, maybe stay motivated, and decide what's realistic, based on your budget as well. Now, casting one eye towards the future, and as an ex-pensions advisor, a topic close to my heart, our kind of money helper, it offers so much information, as I touched upon at the start, about helping people plan for retirement, manage their money when they stop working, because a lot of us are maybe looking towards that eventuality as well. It explains things like, how workplace and personal pensions work, how much money we may need in retirement, and then the different options of how do we take our money at the other side as well, because there's loads of different ways we can do it, And as I said, Money Helper can also provide guidance on the state pension entitlement as well, budgeting in later life, how to maybe boost or trace old lost pensions as well. Just to help people make informed decisions and feel confident about their financial future. Now, I guess a question we often get asked, and I'll ask you guys as well. How much do you think you'll need in retirement? Okay. Now, it is a tricky question because we're all different. We've all got different needs or what we want to do in retirement as well. And it was a difficult question to answer when people ask us this on our helplines. But there's been some brilliant work done on this by Loughborough University. And they've published their results on this brilliant website. You can see here, retirementlivingstandards.org.uk. So all this information is available on this website. I have a go at it. It's a really brilliant website. Now they've said, okay, currently someone retiring now, they will need, if they're a single person, they'll need a minimum of 13,400 to cover the necessities, within retirement. Maybe some extras, and it breaks it down. What makes up this figure? Things like maybe spending £200 a year to maintain the condition of your house. It assumes that someone's maybe paid off their mortgage or not got rental costs in retirement. So if someone hasn't, or if they are renting in retirement, they're going to need more than this. So it just gives some people an idea what they may need to try and aim for as an income or expenditure level in retirement. Of course, the more we can save for ourselves, the better off we're going to be, of course. That's where this moderate or the more comfortable people, the more that level of expenditure comes in as well. But again, it just helps people just to answer that kind of basic question: how much do we need? Well, there's been some research done into it, and these are those figures. So I would urge you, have a look. That retirement living standards .org.uk. It is a brilliant website, gives people that initial planning kind of information. And then think about yourself, where are you on your journey then? And that's where you can use, for example, our pension calculator to stick in things like, right, are you paying into a pension yourself? How much? Your date of birth, because it'll bring in the state pension information for you as well. How much, if you're employed, how much does your employer pay in? Have you got any old pensions? Stick those into the mix as well. And then once you've inputted that information, it'll give you a very kind of good estimate as to the likely income you'll be on track to receiving at your chosen retirement age. As I said, you stick in your date of birth because it'll bring that state pension information in as well, because everyone's state pension is at their fixed state pension age, of course. There's no flexibility there. But with personal, workplace, private pensions, you've got a bit of flexibility. You can take it at different ages. So it gives people that overall picture. And you can have a mess around with the assumptions. If you think, oh, do you know what, that's nowhere near enough. What if I pay an extra 1%, extra 2% a year into the pension? How would that improve the picture? So you can just have a mess around with the assumptions then as well, on the bars on the calculator, and that'll give you information then on a kind of realistic estimate at your chosen retirement age as well. And I mentioned the other end as well. Now, taking money from your pensions, that can be a minefield for people these days. 10 years ago, or more than 11 years ago now, the Chancellor at the time introduced pension freedoms. So the ways you can access your pension, for example, from a defined contribution arrangement, is varied. Okay, so you can do as whatever you want with it these days. But with that freedoms, with that choice comes more complexity. So that's why we've got these pension-wise appointments that people can have totally for free. So essentially, if you're over the age of 50 and you've got a defined contribution pension, so like a pot of pension with an insurance company typically, then you would automatically qualify for a pension-wise appointment. You can book one at a time and date that's suitable for yourself. It takes about an hour over the phone usually, and they will just take you through all the different options of taking your money at retirement, the tax consequences of doing X, Y, or Z, and give you more information. Have you thought of this? Have you thought of that as well? And it's been going for over 10 years, as I said, and it's still getting brilliant feedback, over 90 odd, 95, 96% as well. So pension-wise, it's there for people accessing money at retirement as well. Now, it was said as well, with all the tools of Money Helper, we can hopefully help navigate people's work situation, their benefits if they're missing out, and loads, a whole host more as well, by offering this clear, trusted guidance at key moments in their working lives as well. It explains maybe your workplace rights, your pay and pensions in plain English, helps people understand, right, what benefits and support they may be entitled to, changes like starting a new job, reducing hours, redundancy, long-term illnesses, all these different things can affect their money as well. And with all our practical tools, the checklists, the signposting for further support as well. Ideally, Money Hub is there to help people make these informed decisions and more confident managing their finances during times of change as well. And one thing that shocked me, and I had to double check these figures, okay, in Wales, and this is just in Wales alone, there's £2 billion worth of support, help, and benefits going unclaimed every year. So after we obviously we've because of that, we've developed our benefits calculator, benefits checker. So again, it takes minutes to do this as well, just to help people. Are they missing out on some sort of help or support? You could stick in some answer 6 questions on the benefits calculator, and it will show you what potential support or help or benefits you may be missing out on as well. Because what we see, if people are maybe claiming some money that they don't know about, they tend to spend it in the local community as well. So it helps local communities as well, we've seen. So it's like a win-win generally as well. And the Welsh Government, of course, they've got this Claim What's Yours initiative. So they want people to claim what they are entitled to as well. There's maybe some sort of stigma attached against it to claiming what people are entitled to. But, we say, look, if you're entitled to it, why not check it out as well? So that's what our benefits calculator is there for as well. This bill prioritizer, a bit of a newish tool that we've got. Again, from feedback from the helplines, people telling us, "Oh, I'm fed up." The letters through the letterbox, they're all bills, red bills. Again, we ignore things that we don't like, but that's where things, as I said, can spiral out of control. So again, we developed this bill prioritizer, and it allows people just to say, right, okay, which bills are causing you problems with? So you can pick from any of the typical bills people are seeing, click on one or all of these types of bills, and then it'll give you information, right, which one should you really be tackling first? Because we know there are some bills that are priority debts, others are maybe non-priority debts. Sometimes do we tackle the easiest ones first? Should we be looking at the other ones? And these bills were causing people anxiety, causing them stress, leading to bad mental health episodes as well. So that's why we developed this bill prioritizer. It allows people maybe just to see the wood from the trees in a way as well, just to help them focus on what they should be doing there. And it lists right, this issue why you should be tackling first and why. And that's the key thing, why you should be doing it. So it doesn't just list them for you, it gives reasons why. And it also gives help and information on where to go if you are struggling with as well. It sorts things by urgency, explains why they're important. And I said about these practical next steps and support, even things like how to speak to your landlord, how to get help with energy debt, set up affordable repayment plans. We've even got templates that people can use if they just don't know where to start as well with their correspondence. So again, that's why we set up the bill prioritizer. This one, a bit more of a fun one, I guess, but an important one as well. If you've got kids, you know how expensive they are, and it seems like it's never ending. As I said, my 18-year-old is still wanting money and stuff. So we've developed this baby money timeline because we know having kids is expensive, as I said. So you can put in the due date when someone's expecting, and what it does, it kind of, for that 9 months of pregnancy, it gives practical hints and tips of what people should be doing. Even things like how to talk to your employer about having leave for different appointments and stuff, having vouchers, different types like that, leading up, as I said, to the birth date. And then for the 2 years afterwards as well, what to be doing on a week-by-week basis, even how to register a birth and stuff like that. So very practical information, bringing in financial information as well. And again, with this one, you can download this onto your own calendar, your own Outlook or things like that. So you've got that with reminders of what to do at certain times as well. And I've sent this recently to the guys at the BBC. They love this one. So again, more of a fun one, but it's still such an important one as well. Because as I said, having kids is so expensive as well. But I said everything we do is totally free as well. So people can download any of our kind of free print, free guides. You can download electronic copies of it. You can order hard copies of our guides as well. Um, a popular one now, then let's have a look. Bottom left, for example, okay, our redundancy handbook, for example. Unfortunately, this is a popular one, especially down, for example, in South Wales over the last number of years with the Talbot area, with the steelworks, the uncertainty going on there. So, we want people to know their rights, what they're entitled to, for example, just again to empower them, just to make them more confident in these unexpected times. So again, loads of different types of booklets, of guides that people can order, covering all sorts of eventualities, and of course available in Welsh and in English within Wales as well. This one, for example, the mental health and money toolkit. Now, this is a practical resource. Again, just helps people better understand or manage their finances, whilst again still supporting their mental well-being, because there is a correlation there between money worries and mental health as well. And this tool, or this booklet, it just offers simple, accessible tools, information to understand that link between money and mental health. Build helpful routines, help reduce anxiety around financial decisions, which a lot of people have. And people can use this alone or in support, with their practitioners, and just encourages open conversations, really, providing some structure to them, ensuring during periods of mental health, it empowers people just to take control of their own situation at their own pace as well. Now, one thing as well, I mentioned there's, billions of £2 billion worth of support going unclaimed in Wales. Now, this is even a bigger issue as well. These child trust funds, I don't know if you remember these. These were kind of vouchers essentially given to the parents or the carers of babies born, you can see there, between September '02 and January 2011. The voucher was worth at least £250 given to those parents when those kids were born. And the parents at the time should have done something with the voucher, invested that voucher for those kids. But you can imagine, there's other things going on. One, a screaming baby for starters. So what we've seen is that so many of these child trust funds went unclaimed. So what happened essentially, after a period of about 6 months, if those vouchers that were issued, if nothing was done with them, the government would have automatically invested those vouchers in the names of those kids, okay, those children. And what we are seeing now, those kids are now turning into young adults. And these child trust funds, well, they're worth on average just over £2,000. But there's billions of pounds worth of these child trust funds going unclaimed. So again, a sum of around that £2,000 would come in very handy for a young person these days. And I can tell you, my son, he knows about it. I think he's spent his already, to be honest with you. But I remember having those vouchers and investing them for my kids. But there's so many of these vouchers going unclaimed. So have a look. There could be money out there for young people that you may know. And I thought I was quite financially savvy. As I said, I remember investing those vouchers for my children. But I forgot that the Welsh government at the time gave an extra smaller amount as well. And I had forgotten about that voucher. And only the last year, I've tracked those vouchers down using a tool here. I think I used the Share Foundation tool just to track down those two little vouchers for my kids. Again, so if I've taken those, I've invested that for them as well. So there's money out there. That's the message there. Potential money out there, especially for young people. That sum of money could come in very handy as well. Other examples of free money out there as well. This Help to Save initiative, proving very popular. It was due to end last April, but they've extended for another couple of years. So this helps those who are maybe struggling a bit more. If you're receiving any of these kind of benefits or tax credits on this list here, you could be eligible to save into one of these help to save initiatives, okay? So essentially what it means is that you can save up to, let's get this right, up to a maximum of £50 a month over a course of 4 years, okay? So that's, you could, if someone managed to do that, you could save a maximum of £2,400 over that 4 year period. And for every pound that someone managed to save into one of these help to save initiatives, the government will give you 50 pence for every pound as well. So the potential £1,200 worth of bonus money on top here for people who may be struggling, who maybe want to save. It's an initiative, a bit of a bonus for them, this help to save as well. So again, if you know people who may be receiving some sort of tax credits, there could be free money for them there. And this is where you can get more information about help to save as well. And within Wales, of course, we can't work in a vacuum. We want to spread the word about what's available. Where can people go to get help, within Wales as well? For example, the Welsh Government, their warm homes, their nest scheme, again, just helping making Welsh homes warmer, more energy efficient, especially with things going on these days. That's more of an issue these days. It provides all households in Wales with free, impartial advice to help us reduce our energy bills, help us kind of maximize our income in a way. So again, a lot of work being done there. Dŵr Cymru, Welsh Water, for example, they've got a variety of services to help its customers. It's set up in a different way to most water companies. It's not for profit. So it's that if people are struggling, you can contact them for help. They've got different things like social tariffs, cost of living support, water direct schemes and things like this, just to help people who are maybe struggling a bit as well. The DAF, for example, the Discretionary Assistance Fund. This is a Welsh Government programme. It provides financial assistance to those really in need. It's got two types of payment, like an emergency assistance payment or individual assistance payment to help with like essential costs like your food, electricity, gas, clothing and stuff like that. Very kind of topic at the moment, with utility bills and gas and oil, of course, as well. And because of what we're seeing around the world at the moment, with the cost of living going potentially up at the moment, what they have done in the last few days, the Welsh Government, they've temporarily increased the support for those on kind of off-grid on oil, for example, relying on oil, for example, so they can have up to £750 per award available to them up to twice a year, just to help, with the ongoing situation there. So there is help out there. And as I said, we don't want to work in a vacuum there. So it's just knowing where to go. So as I said, I'll send a copy of these slides out after today as well. But, with Money Helper, with the Money and Pension Service, we are here just to help people. We can help people from, I guess, from pocket money all the way to pensions in a way as well, and anything in between as well, one eye towards the future, even things like, setting up power of attorneys, all sorts of information. But whatever that is, of course, whatever your circumstances, we are never here to sell anything. We're just on people's side, wanting to provide that free, impartial information for them, just to help them make the best decisions for themselves. And the last slide then. So this is how people can contact us for help. We've got our helplines. As I said, you can contact us for any query. On the left there, you can see any pension queries you may have. For any kind of general queries, you can phone the main helpline number there. Or if you want to set up your own pension-wise appointment, we've got different types of appointment as well. So have a look. Things like a divorce, the way a pension can be shared upon divorce. That's a minefield for people as well. So we've set up a dedicated appointment for that, for example. Okay. And then on the right, you can see there, anything else with regards to money guidance, you can just contact us on any other topics as well. And as I said, if things lines up busy, leave us a message and we guarantee to ring people back as well. But that was it. from me then. So I'll stop sharing now to see if anyone's got any questions, stick them in the chat as well. So I'll have a look at the chat. I'll stop sharing now. Yes, so the comment there, I will be sharing a copy of these slides. I'll send them to Sarah later on as well. So these can be distributed later on as well. So we got a question. What about student loans at the pension age? Good one there. Of course, depend where you are in the UK. For example, if you're on Plan 2, which I think most maybe students in Wales are student loan in Wales, essentially they are written off after a period of time. At the moment is that period of that 30 years. So that typically, depending when you start university, when you have your loan, of course, after a period of 30 years, it would typically be written off. So they typically wouldn't be paid in pension age, of course. So at the moment, that's how that works. Who knows about the future as well? Things are constantly changing there, but we have got a dedicated section about student and graduate finances on Money Helper that people can have a look at as well. Indeed, I was surprised as well about the different levels, isn't it? Now even the minimum level of the minimum level of expenditure in retirement, that 13,400. Now the state pension, if someone's retiring today just on the state pension today is just about, was it 12, about 12,500 pounds. So that's nearly £1,000 lower than what they're suggesting the minimum is. So whilst the state pension is great that it's there, it's really going to just keep the wolf from the door, really. That's why it's so important for us to maybe look after ourselves a bit more, to put money aside for that future as well, because the more comfortable we want to be, we want to kind of look after ourselves. And of course, there is free money there on the table from the government for pensions. So, for example, if you're a basic rate taxpayer, you're going to get at least a 20% uplift on top of your contribution. Whatever you pay into your pension, you're going to get at least a 20% uplift in the form of tax relief from the government. If you're a higher rate taxpayer, you're going to get tax relief at your marginal rate as well. So there is a bit of money out there for pensions as well. Any advice for workers before state pension age? Well, I mean, depends on what topic you're on about, I guess. I mean, yeah, there's plenty we can say for people before they reach pension age. Um, I guess if people can afford to do it, I mean, a lot of people that we speak to, they think pensions, oh, that's for old people. I'll sort that out, later on. But, with the magic of pensions is the compound growth, of course. That's where, you get returns, not just on the money you're putting in, but you get returns on your returns in a way as well. That's the magic of these pensions. So the earlier people can start, they're going to be better off later on. Very rough rule of thumb is, whatever your age, people argue that you should be maybe saving as a percentage. Half of the percentage rate would be, so if I'm 50, for example, they say I should be aiming to maybe put in 25% overall into a pension. But that's a very rough rule of thumb. But that depends on when you start as well. So that's just a very rough rule of thumb for people there. There's a 15 about cancellation of student loan, I'm assuming. How to apply this? There's no link. I'm not sure, to be honest with that. It's not my level of expertise, the student loans. I'll be honest with you. If you ask me a pension question, I'll be all right. But contact us on, the previous slide, the telephone number slides. Just ask them that question on the money guidance team. They will hopefully be able to kind of point you in the right direction about that as well. So give us a ring. Yes, Christine, you can order leaflets, you can order booklets. On when I send the a copy of the slides later on now, the link, when you do that bit with the free guides, click into that link, you'll be able to order them for yourself or order for other people as well. And yeah, you can distribute those as well. You can order the digital and hard copies for yourself as well. Advice on low-income family, just over the universal credit claims. Yeah, again, it's not my area of expertise. I will have to admit, I have to be honest there. This is such a common query that the guys at the money guidance team get about universal credit. We've got a number of experts on this on the helpline. So I would say give them a ring first of all on that general money advice number. They can formulate the questions for you to ask the guys at Universal Credit then as well. So they can give you the right questions to ask them for certain, certain scenarios as well. But for myself, I'm more general. I don't specialize in these types of queries. Waiting time, I'm talking probably more than 10 minutes. But if there's, when you get, it'll probably wait a few minutes and then it'll give you an option to leave a message. I would usually just pick that option because your place in the queue is held. I know sometimes you phone and you hear that message. I'm always a bit weary about it, but I know for a fact it is held because I used to be able to see calls in the line, and those who've left a message, they pop up automatically in their space in the queue as well. There we are. So, Sarah, I'll send you a copy of the slides later on then. Is that okay with you?
That's great. Thank you, Lawrence.
No, thank you for facilitating today as well.